My parents arrived here on this property not really knowing what this property was going to end up being.
There's something about coming into the property that sparks your desire to have an adventure. The undiscovered gem that's tucked away back here that, unless you know about it, you would never know that it's here.
There's just something magical about having the trees embracing you as you drive through, hearing the sound of the gravel crushing beneath. So when my parents found the property, in their minds, they laid eyes on the ruins of this dilapidated homestead and literally had hearts and stars in their eyes. They fell head over heels in love with this house.
But for me, and I think my sisters probably felt the same way, this is not looking that great.
But my parents were so dedicated and so passionate about this place, and
They tricked us, and thank goodness that they did, because I can't imagine doing anything else.
the infrastructure that my parents put in has really held up and provided for everything that's come on top. It's really been the foundation of what we've been able to do here.
My parents tried to do so many things. Some things worked out and some things didn't, and this project has worked out in a way that exceeds all of our expectations. I think what's really cool about it is that my parents allowed the project to grow in a very organic way, and they very much wanted their children to be a part of that.
We've been working on this property for 36 years, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into this.
We'd had an idea that this structure could function as a winery and that we could have underground cellars. But the reality is that it was solid rock. It had to be blasted. And that's something that we've persevered in. When you come inside the underground, then you really enter a very special magical world.
I like to describe my role as the look, the feel, the experience. I love writing about the wines. It's my chance really to write the love letter, the tasting notes. It's how much I love the wines. My sister, as the president, she's the captain of the ship. I trust her implicitly.
Well, I personally handle all of the production, winemaking, and part of what I think the main vision that my parents had was for us to work together.
David is brilliant with what he does with winemaking, and I love that he includes us always in, hey, taste this, hey, taste that, what's your opinion? And he values it. And he's my baby brother, so you know how sisters feel about their baby brothers.
I love the sense of freedom that comes with being on a large parcel of land. Of course, I love to procrastinate. I always joke that winemaking is a very time-consuming process, so I think that my procrastination kind of works in my favor there.
Something about this place, it strips off all the unnecessary stuff, and you really start to understand what matters.
What's so special about being up in the mountains for me is you have this idea that you don't really know what's coming next, but you have a feeling that it's going to be special.
A lot of times with the wine club, we feel like we're getting more out of it than our customers because we have the most amazing, diverse group of people, but they've got this great thing in common, which is their passion for wine. We are the southernmost property in the Childs Valley district because of where the headwaters originating here on our property that are tributaries of Lake Hennessy, which is the water source for all of Napa County.
There's a very intense interaction between the earth and the atmosphere, and you feel it and it draws you in and you feel connected. The vineyard is really part of a larger organism, and that organism is the forest. And the challenge is that you have all these creatures that come out of the forest and they go into the vineyard and start eating all the fruit. So that can be challenging, but typically they take what they're going to take and they leave the rest for us. When you live here, you get to see the recurring patterns, clues to how special the microclimate is. We get regular fog that comes in here, which helps to maintain a cooler climate, because the amount of time that we spend at the daytime high is very short, but the diurnal shift sometimes will be 50, 60 degrees. You can sense that in the wines, and that's why we tend to hold acidity here, and that helps to keep the balance in the wines. Well, Brown Estate is characterized by 8 geographically distinct vineyard blocks. The topography of the land has made it so that these vineyards are very unique, and when you taste the wines, that shows up. Zinfandel is special. Aside from being the heritage grape, it expresses the seasons very dramatically. But that's okay, because the objective with these Zins is not to make a consistent style, but to consistently express the style of the vineyard. The concept of chaos theory really revolves around what we experience every year in the vineyard, and the overwhelming theme is unpredictability. So when we made this wine called Chaos Theory, this blend, and we tried to be as open and unrestricted as possible. The idea is that we're embracing the unpredictability.
You have to accept that all the little things that happen in the vineyard, the things that you might think are mistakes or something negative, are actually, in the end, it all works out perfectly. And that is what every bottle of wine at Brown Estate should embody: the story of this place and the story of the growing season.
It's about being great stewards of the land, and it's about producing pure and balanced wines and sharing our dream with the world.